And that is our ultimate standard. You have to deplore reason to justify reason.
We have to deplore reason to justify reason. So deplore, that means like hate or whatever, right? Yeah. I don't think atheists hate reason. Like if you would say anything, reason is kind of like the cornerstone of everything that we use. We say that you're unreasonable because you think that we have like Coke fizzing out of our ears with brain barf coming out of our nose. Like I guess. I mean that's the best thing that I can pull out of this shit stain of a video.
If alls we are is evolved palm scum.
Hey, honey, am I supposed to say, all right, be sure to like and then comment and subscribe and hit that bell notification thingy and do it right fucking now. Or don't be fucking lazy. What am I supposed to say? You lazy fucks. What up, heathens? How you guys doing today? I'm doing mighty fine. I hope that you guys are doing all right. I am doing mighty fine. I don't know why that is such a fucking problem. Are we ready to think or to see exactly how cauliflower is related to atheists? And we don't believe in no atheists around here. Atheists do not exist, okay? Just to let you fucks know, atheists don't exist. And we're going to prove it right now. See? Cauliflower! Boom, atheists. Your atheist God don't exist. Okay, legit 3 seconds he's holding a cauliflower and nothing. Like he doesn't say shit. Yes, Aiden, covfefe flower would actually be more accurate. Covfefe flower is in no way related to atheists.
If we were to embrace
the cauliflower,
our friends that really believe in an atheistic world, or a world where nature and science is all that we have to work with. And science really is just deploying knowledge to justify knowledge. But even in their worldview, we would have to come to the end conclusion that if with us being just matter and us just being evolved palm scum, essentially, I alluded earlier to brain barf, and I used the analogy that if all our bodies are just evolved processes and evolved atoms and neurons and neutrons and cells within us that are just banging together out of chaos and somehow created order.
Wait a second. Did he just legit say that we are evolved pond scum? That we are just single cells that bang against each other and then boom, order, meaning humans appear? Are you fucking serious at this point? You're holding a cauliflower and thinking you're making a sound argument, but I really think that you're just making the argument that you need to be in a goddamn padded room. Because that's not how evolution works. That's not how any of this works. Just because I'm an atheist does not mean that I accept abiogenesis or anything like that. It just means that I don't believe in a God. But probably your God, you're probably a Christian, judging by the whiteness of your skin and the targets hanging in the background.
One can only conclude that our thoughts, as a byproduct of that chemical reaction that's
wait, hold on. You got to use that scientific technical term, brain barf. It's the brain barf in there. It's just brain barf that's just swirling around in my head. I don't even know how I learned how to do all this fucking live streaming shit.
Taking place within our natural brains. Our thoughts or our beliefs are essentially just brain barf.
Could we say brain barf one more time? It's almost like covfefe flower.
They're just brain farts, really, that just echo throughout existence.
Eco? Eco? What's eco? Like, is he talking about economical? What the fuck is he talking about? Brain barf is just the eco of the universe. I don't know what eco is. It must be related to covfefe. Covfefe. Sorry, covfefe. Not confefe. That's just dumb as fuck to say, isn't it? Covfefe. I don't even know how to say a goddamn made-up word.
One could then only conclude that if that's what we evolved into, essentially.
No, we didn't evolve into any we didn't evolve into brain farts. Like, I don't even know where this guy has his internet degree from Stuff and Things University.
That we started with chaos. We started with organic soup. And so there would be no reason whatsoever for me not to relate this head of cauliflower to my very distant grandfather.
Well, no, that's not how evolution works. Like, true, we share one like branch or whatnot somewhere far distant, millions and millions of years ago. Like, you didn't even go distant, but where animals actually split from plants at that point is so far back that no, it's not your great whatever the fuckteenth great grandfather. Like, that's not how evolution works. At best, you could say a very, very distant cousin in the evolutionary tree that is in no way actually related to you. Like, I don't know who explained this to you, but apparently it went right over your head. Sorry, I've got sinus things right now. I know that's gross to do right on stream, but I figure it's grosser to see all the brain barf leaking out of my nose.
And as much as I love Bob and Larry on VeggieTales, it's reduced to absurdity.
See? VeggieTales. That's what the fuck's wrong with him. He's been vegging out on VeggieTales all day.
It's absurd. And that is what we are called as Christians to do, is to not try to step out of our
vegetarianism. Are Christians supposed to be vegetarians? Is that the point here? I still don't understand the cauliflower reference.
Ultimate authority, which should reside within Scripture, and try to come into this neutral zone between us and an atheist or us and a naturalist, and use evidence to lead to God. The problem with that approach.
You don't have evidence? Is that the problem with the... Honey, I think that's the problem with his Covfefe approach here, is no evidence. Hashtag Covfefe evidence.
Is that if in a law, in a courtroom, whoever it is that you're presenting and providing evidence to is in fact the judge. Mr. Atheist, you're not the judge.
You're not the judge either, but you're presenting me with evidence to judge it whether or not it is, viable, or if it makes sense to me. So in a way, you are. I mean, I think that he might be postulating that you just need to tell them the truth, and then that's all the evidence they need because they're not judge. That's not how shit works in reality at all.
Scripture identifies in Romans chapter 1 that all the evidence has been clearly seen and clearly understood. But we have a fundamental issue. All of us do, myself included, a fundamental issue that we struggle with, and that is sin. Scripture identifies sin to be the very avenue, the very means in which truth is suppressed, in which case it's suppressing what you've always known. If you hold a basketball underwater.
If you hold a basketball underwater, you drown the fuck and you should go to jail. Boom, eighth of tits. No. Okay, so basically his argument boils down to a presuppositional argument. He's saying that we all know God exists in our hearts because God has written that information on our hearts. And so therefore we already know it. We just have to quit suppressing it so that we can just live in hedonism. If you guys are following my streams, we learned about that last week, about how hedonism is just living for yourself and everything because you don't want to be accountable to a God. Sorry, I got brain barf leaking out my nose. But that's not at all what atheists are or believe or anything like that. Like, that doesn't explain atheists. He's of the opinion that atheists just suppress, the knowledge of God so that they can just serve themselves or live for themselves and not give a shit about other people and all this other stuff. He has a very shitty, low opinion of atheists, basically.
Suppress it. The more sin, the more doubt, the more unbelief, the more anger, the more frustration towards that of the things of God, the more suppression takes place.
Christians like this just make me want to shut them out and just leave the conversation. I'm going to power through this video, but it really, at this point, you're telling me that I'm just lying and that I'm this downright shitty person because I want to be a shitty person, so I'm just suppressing God. you can fuck off a cliff with your brain barf, gob goo, and whatever the fuck else you got.
According to your worldview, Mr. Atheist, I mean this fully respectfully, is that
Bring
if,
it, bitch.
you know, and I used it prior in my prior video, if all we are evolved chemical processes and in evolved palm scum, essentially, and just cells just crashing into themselves and somehow creating order, okay, then...
Okay, so before he gets to the crux of his argument here, which I can guarantee you is going to be dumb as fuck, that is not in any way what an atheist believes at all. I realize, sir, that you have the lowest opinion that you could possibly have of atheists in general. But fuck you for sitting there and acting so condescending and acting like we're the ones that just want to sin and we totally disrespect God, or we downplay God, or we suppress God in our own knowledge because we just want to be shitty fucking people. Fine, you think that, but that's not reality. Some of the most altruistic people out there are fucking atheists. And some of the most selfish people out there are goddamn Christians. So you want to sit there and act like that? That's fine. But you're fucking wrong. And reality doesn't give a shit about your opinions or what you think. That's why I do subscribe to science to tell me the truth of the universe and the world, because that's exactly what it seeks to do, is to define our reality truthfully. And you're just living in a delusion at this point. Also, cells crashing into each other producing humans, not how it works. I feel like maybe you're talking about sex there, but I don't know. Also, evolved pond scum, not exactly how it works. Maybe pond scum was in our distant past, I guess, being organic material, but that's not how evolution works. Evolved natural processes. Natural processes don't evolve like that. Like, it's not like there's a natural process out there in the wild waiting to be caught like a fucking Pokemon, and then you level him up and he changes into a fucking person at some point. Like, you've got this distorted view of all of these fucking things, but to you, that's how shit works. And that's why you're delusional.
One can only conclude that your brain, that your physical brain, having produced those chemical abilities and processes and abilities to rationalize and think, you know, critically, that a thought or an opinion or a belief is essentially just brain barf. It's essentially what it is, in essence, is just your brain farted for a minute and it had a belief. It's equivalent to me shaking Pepsi and Coke and it fizzing out the side. How do we know which is truth?
He legit just dumbed down like basic biological processes and basic biological or knowledge of biology to just fucking fizzing Coke, and that's all. That's like all my personality is, or at least that's what I believe. My personality is a fucking fizzing Coke. Are we talking to a feminist here, trying to convince me that gender is so fluid that I could walk down a hallway and identify as a mouse? Like, is that who we're talking about here? I don't know, but it feels like that is what the proposition, like an actual comparison to a proposition, is. You know, I don't know at this point, but I can guarantee you that my beliefs aren't a fucking brain fart and that they're not comparable to a goddamn fizzing Coke.
How do we know what identifies with truth? As I said before, if I'm leaking theistically and the atheist is leaking that there is no God.
Leaking? Like, is he talking about taking a piss or something? Like, I don't know. Honey, do you have any insight? Not brain farting right?
Right.
My brain barf isn't brain farting right. It's not creating all the right fizzes with the Cokes and shit. So I'm sorry, I don't got anything for you. Oh yeah, we had some of those Pop Rock Oreos a second ago because my sugar was low. Fucked us up in our brain barf and brain farts.
How are we to determine what truth is if all we are is just evolved palm scum?
Well, we're not just evolved pond scum there, dipshit. Okay, we can know truth. Like, science is a good way. The scientific method is a good way to discern truth or reality or whatnot. Truth is a very complex philosophical subject as well. So all of that, those brain farts, brain barf, and whatever the fuck else you think fizzes out the top of our heads.
If all we are essentially is a head of broccoli or a head of cauliflower, the reality is is that, again, and I'll make this statement again, is that atheists will borrow from the Christian worldview. The only reason, Mr. Atheist, that you are able to deplore knowledge is because there was knowledge to begin with. It can't.
No. Like, that's not how knowledge works. If there was knowledge to begin with, why didn't we start off with like the knowledge of fire? Why do we have archaeological evidence of, humans? Like, here's a little bit of a lesson for you. One of the reasons why humans were able to evolve such big brains, and just one reason, is because we discovered fire. We were able to make fire, we were able to cook meat, and we were able to have better nutrition. That allowed our brains to get bigger and be able to reason. That's part of our biological process, is to be able to reason. So no, it wasn't there was knowledge first and then humans came along. No. Like there were humans, and then we gained knowledge through exploring our environment. This is just false, and I got brain barf falling out of my nose, brain farting again.
Came from the conscience and the mind of God. The only reason why you're able to think rationally, or we have definitions of what's considered rational, or definitions on what's considered logical, or definitions on what's considered morale, and the ability to know right from wrong, is because it came from the heart of God.
No, it came from the minds of men. We set down those very subjective concepts. They're abstract concepts, sure, but they are very man-made concepts, and we can sort of change them at will if you want to think of it.
And that is our ultimate standard. You have to deplore reason to justify reason.
We have to deplore reason to justify reason. So deplore, that means like hate or whatever, right? Yeah. I don't think atheists hate reason. Like if you would say anything, reason is kind of like the cornerstone of everything that we use. We say that you're unreasonable because you think that we have like coke fizzing out of our ears with brain barf coming out of our nose. Like I guess. I mean, that's the best thing that I can pull out of this shit stain of a video.
If alls we are is evolved palm scum, what gives you the right to sit back and say that I am using circular reasoning, or that my beliefs are incorrect?
Okay, because when you start with, oh, God exists, here's the Bible, therefore God exists, that's fucking circular reasoning. See, it's when one end circles around back to the other fucking end. Like, I think that brain barf and brain farts could have pieced that together the amount of time that we've been here.
By you just responding, you lost. Because the truth is, why would I hold a...
Fuck, you're right, honey. I fucking lost. Take all this shit down. All of this goddamn brain barf, brain fart shit over here. Fuck all that. Just tear it all down. Get this Nordic track out of here. Fuck that shit. Because I lost. And that's why, because I fuck all of this shit because I lost. And that's how atheists and hate the tits, they react and shit. Eighth of tits.
A head of broccoli or a head of cauliflower accountable for anything, for using logic, for using a sense of morality, a sense of the laws of nature.
Cauliflowers, they're not evolved beings. Like, not necessarily evolved, but they're not high-functioning organic thing. Like, that's what we are. I'm fairly certain that apes have their own social constructs and social norms that they keep to, and when an ape steps outside that, I'm fairly certain they punish his ass. That's not true for every single ape group, but we are apes too. We are social creatures. We have highly evolved brains. Cauliflowers fucking don't. Like, I don't understand why you think cauliflowers are the same thing as fucking humans. Like, not even PETA members think this, because they chew down on cauliflower all the time, but they don't feel like cannibals.
We don't get up in the morning and wonder where pockets of air are, and we have to run to get into that pocket to be able to breathe.
What is he talking about, pockets of air? I have no fucking idea.
It's equivalent to an atheist saying, to be an atheist, you have to use God to say there is no God.
How the fuck does that work? I've got to use God in order... Like, I don't even know how to respond to that. That's so dumb as fuck. I have no fucking idea.
It's like I'm saying, I don't believe in air. I have to be using air all the while to justify that there's no air that's being used.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's trying to push circular arguments onto us by creating straw man fallacies, and it's just not working for him because he just sounds like he's remedial as fuck. And I'm really kind of surprised that he was able to hit those targets back there that accurately. My guess is that he just sort of threw the gun and it just sort of shot off in the right way. Hey, heathen! I hope that you enjoyed this video. There's more of this particular response. If you want to see it, let me know down in the comments below. If this is your first time here, definitely hit that subscribe button, despite how I started off the video. And I guess I will see you later. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice.